Hi, welcome to Next Level Jewelry. I'm Joel Torak, and today we will talk about a return on investment for software systems, and in particular of business management systems such as enterprise resource planning or ERP systems. So the question I will try to answer today is how long does it take for software investments, and in particular investments into business software, to pay themselves back? And how will this payback happen, and how do we know whether an investment into an ERP system was or will be the right thing to do? First of all, we need to mention that every juror who sees the time right to implement a new system, for some reason or other, feels that the company will profit from this change. When I talk to owners or managers of jewelry companies, I often hear the following things. There is a chaos with my orders, and I can't see where I'm losing money. I can't see who is working with what orders and how they're performing. I'm losing customers because I can't complete my orders in time. I would like to grow and sell online, but I can't build my online sales channels without a good system, and on and on and on. So as you can see, these are sort of vague issues, not concrete descriptions of underlying problems expressed in hard numbers. And they are vague because they are very hard to quantify. And even after a business management on ERP system is implemented, since it touches on so many parts of the operation, expressing each individual benefit quantitatively is a hard thing to do. Small business owners usually don't have the time to run the numbers, even if they know how to do it. So as a consequence, it's really hard to quantify how a new system benefits a particular company. For people who work in the financial sector, for example, especially those who deal with accounting, calculating ROI is relatively easy, as they work with the clean financial data from day to day. It's not the same for jewelry company owners, however. The ROI numbers get always buried in the complexities of running the business and are not readily available. So to make things simpler, let's deal with two types of benefits. The first are the express benefits, or the outcomes that can be quantified in simple, measurable numerical data, like what is the percentage of increase in sales or the increase in efficiency after the implementation of the software systems. And secondly, for what I would call the comfort benefits, or the benefits of generating reports easily, and that you can track the performance of your employees more efficiently. These are harder to quantify, but these are benefits nevertheless. So first I will focus only on number one, the express or measurable benefits. But before I move on, I need to mention a very important concept, that of measurability. In order to measure the changes, we need to have some preliminary or baseline data. In other words, if we have no data about how long it took to create a piece of jewelry before implementing a software, then we don't have a point of reference to see how the process was improved after introducing the software. So any measurable benefit needs to have an easily quantifiable base or starting condition. Sales, work orders processed, timely deliveries, payments received on time, work hours, number of defects per 1,000 orders, and so on. These are all easily measurable, and as such, these are prime candidates for calculating the ROI. So first we need to select our things to be measured, let's say the number of orders processed and timely deliveries. Then we can do the estimation on how much these things will be improved with the introduction of the new system. You can select many of these indices, the more the better. But I would suggest that you focus only on the most important ones in order to keep things simple. This should give you a good enough estimation, even if it won't be perfect. If you can come up with the 5 most important things, then that would be a good start. Once you have these, do your baseline measurements. You can select a time period, let's say a week or a month, and measure the selected indices and document them. Then you can run a simulation for each of the measured items and see how much improvement you will get for each. Once you get the numbers, you need to translate them to some sort of monetary equivalent, such as increased profit, right? Then you can move on to calculating the actual return on investment, or ROI. The simplest way of calculating the ROI is using this formula. So ROI is gain from investment minus cost of investment divided by the cost of investment. So as you can see, there are two numbers that matter, the gain or benefit and the cost. So what are the costs and the benefits? The cost here is technically the total cost of ownership, or TCO. Now the TCO is calculated for the length of time that you intend to use the product. For a typical ERP system, this could be as long as 10 years or even more. During this time, you will pay for license fees. This could be of several types: one-time subscription, user-based, volume-based. You will also pay for hardware costs. You can put all the hardware you need here: servers, barcode scanners, metal scales, printers, and so on. You will also pay for configuration and training fees. Since the implementation doesn't happen overnight and requires significant effort from both you and the vendor, this can be and add up to a considerable cost, so you need to account for these. You will also pay for change requests, customization fees, and so on. As I mentioned in my previous video, implementation without some customization is almost non-existent in the world of business software. So it's important to keep track of this as well. Now, the other part of the equation is the benefits side, or the gains that you will make from using the system. Often it is thought that the benefits fall into the category of intangible and unmeasurable benefits. While there are indeed intangible returns, like the comfort benefits I mentioned earlier, there are also numerous tangible ones that are simpler to measure. For example, your level of productivity. Time and financial losses can almost always be traced back to inefficiencies in productivity. For example, our clients have reported that they achieved over 30% increase in productivity with the same number of staff using our PIRO platform. Number two, visibility. Data is the most important asset for successful management, especially data transmitted in real time. Quality and fast data means quicker and better decisions. Moving to an ERP system will give you access to this real-time data, which will give you a greater financial control over your company. Number three, forecasting and managing. ERP systems can reduce inventory levels by up to 22%, as you are able to forecast demand and limit overstocking. Number four, administrative costs. ERP systems allow you to consolidate your financial reporting and several other administrative costs like managing orders, purchasing, reordering, pricing products, all of which can save you a lot of money. Number five, customer service. Are you wasting money on fixing the orders of unhappy customers? Are you losing customers due to unorganized process or unreliable shipments? With the benefit of an ERP systems, you can retain a lot more customers. These benefits will cumulatively add value to what the ERP system represents in your enterprise. This value can then be expressed in numbers, either by taking a look at the percentage of increase in sales or the increase in the company's profit. So there are many other key ERP ROI measurement parameters that you can use. You can pick these depending on what's important for your business and how these parameters affect your business, such as reduced level of inventory through improved planning and control, improved production efficiency, which minimizes shortages and interruptions in production, reduced material costs through improved procurement and payment protocols, reduced labor costs through better allocation of staff and reduced overtime, increased sales revenue driven by better managed customer relations, and so on. So as an example, let's say our total cost, or TCO, for using the ERP software for 10 years is $250,000. On the other hand, you calculate that the ERP software increases your revenues by around $80,000 a year on average. And that would yield a total revenue increase of $800,000 during the life of the software. Using these numbers in the above formula, where ROI equals to gain from investment minus cost of investment divided by the cost of investment, gives 800,000 minus 250,000 divided by 250,000 equals to 2.2. So a 220% return on investment over 10 years, or a yearly 22% non-cumulative increase on revenues on a yearly basis. Now, this is a pretty straightforward calculation. You have your cost, you have your revenues, all the numbers are lined up, everybody's happy. But how about if you are paying for your ERP software on a subscription basis? This is the so-called software as a service, or SaaS model, which is what more and more software providers are doing these days. It turns out that you can use the same calculation for subscription-based pricing as well. You can just use a different time frame, and this can be 1 year, 5 years, or as long as you think you will use the system. The important thing is to take the costs in account. And in fact, for subscription-based models, it's much easier to come up with a cost, as a subscription usually contains all the costs related to running the system, such as servers, maintenance, and licensing. So as an example, let's start with a subscription that costs $125 per user per month, which is incidentally the price we charge for our cloud-based jury management system called PIRO Fusion. Let's assume that thanks to PIRO Fusion, the users can work with a 10% increased efficiency, which is a minimal increase in productivity. By the way, many of our clients see much higher efficiencies than this. So if you do the math, this means time savings of 48 minutes a day, or 1,008 minutes in an average month, or 202 hours for an entire year. If we consider management salary levels, for example, the savings will easily exceed $5,000 in a year, and that's just for one user. Now, let's go back to the beginning where we said that one user license costs $125 a month, which means $1,500 a year. We can see that the ERP can generate a profit that is nearly 3 times the cost of ownership year after year. Not many other investments can match this level of return long term, not even the best stocks. So there you go. That's a good way of calculating ROI for a business management software system. There are lots of other calculators on the internet that you can give a try, but they may not fully cover what your business needs. So what I explained in this video is a good starting point, however. So if you have any questions about ROI, or you have a relevant experience you'd like to share, please leave a comment below and I'll respond, either below in the comments or in another video. In the meantime, please don't forget to like and share this video, and see you next time.